Throughout the years, I've had a lot of good memories with the PlayStation 4 console. Some of them good, while others not so good, to a point where I banged my controller on the ground based on frustration during a Call of Duty multiplayer game. I'll just leave it at that. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed my time with the console along with its games. But as we all know, all good things must come to an end. So as we say farewell to the PlayStation 4 to make way for the next gen, I figured why not look back at all of my PlayStation 4 games I've collected and owned ever since I've gotten myself the PlayStation 4 system. So with that said, hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and let's begin. Because there's quite a fair share of games to talk about, I will try to speed up the process so the video doesn't go on for way too long. Kicking things off, we have the Assassin's Creed games. I do love me some Assassin's Creed every now and then, and these are the ones I have so far for the PlayStation 4. Black Flag and Origins was pretty good, and while I finished Unity, I honestly forgot the story. I guess that shows how much little impact Unity had in the franchise. Next up is the Batman Arkham games, which I really enjoyed. We have Return to Arkham, which is just re-releases of Arkham Asylum and City, and we also have Batman Arkham Knight. Moving on to first-person shooters, we have the Battlefield series. In this collection, I've obtained Battlefield 1, 4, 5, and Hardline. Hardline is probably the only one I didn't enjoy this much, mainly because I feel the story was unmemorable and I wasn't a huge fan of the multiplayer system. Moving on to the Call of Duty series, we have Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 and 4, Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare, and World War II. My favourite one has to be Modern Warfare, and my least favourite probably has to be Infinite Warfare. Next up is my boy Crash Bandicoot. Both the Insane Trilogy and CTR Nitro Field are fantastic remakes, and yes, I'm looking forward to Crash 4, it's about time. Next up is Deadpool. I did enjoy playing it at first, but replaying it, I realized that the Deadpool character here tries way too hard to get the audience attention by being hip and cool. Regardless, I like the gameplay, and it's an okay experience if you want to pass the time. Here we have Destiny. What's funny is that Destiny was supposed to be this next big thing in video games, then a couple weeks later, not many people were talking about it. I didn't mind playing it, but it's probably not for me. Detroit Become Human is next, and I thought at first I wasn't going to like it, but I absolutely love this game towards the end. The story is well paced and it gets you engaged with its characters. Next up is Dishonored. I've started playing this game just recently and I already like it. Can't wait to spend more hours into it. Doom is next on my list. I remember my friend mentioning this game, and once he showed me what Doom was, I instantly fell in love with it and I had to get it. Up next is Dying Light. I do like me some zombie games every now and then, and this game overall is okay, but it's nothing really too special for a zombie video game. Moving over to the F section, we start off with Fallout 4. It is a bit outdated and it doesn't feel like an RPG game, but it's fun to play it on survival mode though. So far, I only have one Far Cry game in Far Cry 4, and I'm looking to expand the series pretty soon. Next up is a few FIFA games, FIFA 14, 15, and 17. I can't say much about them because they're pretty much the same games as before. I do like sport games, and I don't mind coming back to FIFA once in a while. Fire Pro Wrestling World is next, and I honestly prefer this game rather than any of the WWE 2K games. I definitely recommend trying this out. I have a few Telltale games, and Game of Thrones is the first one I have. It's the weakest one out of the bunch, so not much to say here. I have a couple of God of War games, including the re-release of God of War 3 and the newly God of War. Next up is an indie game called Hard and Slash. It's an okay game, nothing groundbreaking, but fun to try out. I need to spend more hours on Horizon Zero Dawn because it's an absolute pleasure to play, although I can easily say the same with some of the other games I have as well. I only have Infamous First Light, and I am looking to get Second Son as well when the time is right. Next up is a fighting game called Injustice 2. If you ever wanted a Tekken DC experience, then this game is for you. Next up is the Kingdom Hearts games. I've got the story so far, which is practically every Kingdom Hearts game ever released in one case, and Kingdom Hearts 3. I would honestly love some more LEGO games. So far I only have the Avengers game, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, I do like playing sports games, and I remember putting in so many hours into Madden 15. I never played the original Medieval before, and I gotta say, after trying the remake, I really loved this game. In fact, I loved it so much that I even got a Platinum trophy on it. The next Telltale game is Minecraft Story Mode. I don't know what to think about this one. At this point, I think the studios was probably finding anything that's popular and trying to make a game out of it. Next up is Mortal Kombat XL. It's a fun Mortal Kombat game, but man, the microtransactions in this game are through the roof. In a not so good way, of course. Another sport game to mention is NBA 2K14. It's the only basketball game I played, and I'm not looking to expand upon it. It's okay, but this type of game is not for me. I only played No Man's Skies for only a couple of hours, and that was it. And also, it got the same treatment as Destiny did with overhyping something that's really not that revolutionary. Overwatch is next, and it's one of the few multiplayer games I really enjoyed. If you like online video games, then this one is for you. Next up is Persona 5. Never heard of the Persona series before, and I'm glad I've picked this one up because it's honest to god up there as one of my favorite video games of all time. Next up is the game that's based on the movie, Ratchet & Clank. Gameplay is fun, but it's a shame that for a remake for the first game, over half of the original was scrapped to make way for got enough to buy Pixelizer and hashtag Gadgetron. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a long anticipating game that was due to be released, and I really enjoyed it. I had lots of fun with it, and I can't wait for another long awaited game like Bully 2 to be developed. A couple of Resident Evil games that I had the joy of playing, like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7. I also have another couple of games to talk about in Rugby League Live 3 and 4. They're both okay in my opinion, but nothing really too special for sports games. I know I may never get to experience a Sega Mega Drive, so why not get the collection game that has over 50 Mega Drive games in one disc, including Sonic the Hedgehog and Golden Axe, for example. Next up is Shadow of Mordor, another video game I enjoyed my time with, as well as the next one being South Park: The Fractured Butthole. An interesting title name, and as a fan of the South Park series, it was a pleasure to play through. Marvel's Spider-Man is to me one of my favorite PlayStation 4 games of all time. Very keen for the next one to see how everything happens. Next up is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I have made a video recently on it, and I'll leave in the description box below, but just a short recap, even though I would rather stick with the original, I enjoyed playing this remake. Speaking of remakes, up next is Spyro Reignited Trilogy, a very fun but also faithful remake of a very treasured classic from the PlayStation 1 era. Steep is up next. A friend of mine also gave this one to me, and man, I thought I wouldn't enjoy it, but I was wrong, as exploring around the snow is absolutely fun. Another fighting game to mention is Tekken 7. I spent so many hours on Tekken 7 and I have no regrets whatsoever. I honestly cannot remember a single thing about the crew, despite finishing the game and checking out the different cities. I don't know, I guess it didn't really leave an impact to me. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is an RPG game I always come back to for some strange reason. Hands up to anyone who wants this game on a PlayStation 5. Next up is another disc collection of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. One game I liked, and the other one I don't like. We're nearly towards the end, so let's keep on rolling with The Last Guardian. I wouldn't mind coming back to this game when I get the chance to, because I like the idea the game presents. Another series to talk about is The Last of Us. The first one was a great game in storytelling, and the second one, while a bit controversial in a way, but I still enjoyed the gameplay. The Outer Worlds is up next. I really like this game because I'm heavily into RPG games. I do think it is a bit overhyped in my opinion, but I'll make a video on that towards the future. Up next is The Sims 4. I love the series and being able to create your characters and give them life goals to achieve rather than doing it myself in real life. Haha. I only have one Walking Dead game from Telltale, which is A New Frontier. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is an awesome RPG game, so glad that I picked this one up. Next up is UFC. I'm not really a huge fan of UFC, and this game to me is nothing too special. Moving on, we have the Uncharted series, the Nathan Drake collection, which is all 3 games re-released, Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy. They're all great games and I highly recommend trying them out. Up next is Until Dawn. This has always been on top of my list on what games to collect, and I gotta say, I'm pretty mixed about this game. I have to make a video on it down the line. The Watch Dogs series is next with 1 and 2. The first one was okay, but the second one really stood out comparing to the previous title. I love racing games and Wreckfest is absolutely fun to play. If you love the Flatout series, then you're going to love this game. The final set of games to check out is the WWE 2K series, which I'm not entirely invested. If I had to choose my favorite ones, maybe 2K18, and the worst one is a tie between 2K15 and 2K20. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much it. I know I don't have all the best games, and one day I would love to collect all of them when I get the chance to. If I had to decide what's my favorite one, I definitely have to select Marvel Spider-Man. And as for the worst one, easily WWE 2K20, no second thoughts about that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions regarding on game collecting, I'm more than happy to answer your questions in the comments down below. And until then, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, the links will be down in the description box below. I'm Justin from That PlayStation Nerd, telling you to keep calm, and keep playing video games.